Hey, how we doing? Well, welcome to another short video. Today I want to talk to you about endurance. Okay, I want to talk to you about spiritual endurance. You and I, we need endurance because we are running a spiritual race, which you probably already know. We need endurance because of the many different obstacles that sometimes present themselves on our path, trying to take us down. Right? Those things that come out of nowhere sometimes, and then they're trying to take us down. So many hurdles, so many of them that we have to jump over before we can make it to the finish line. And as human beings, I know we don't like difficulties. I mean, who does? We like things to go smoothly, right? Smooth sailing. That's how we like it, and we like it all the time. But is that a good idea, though? Is it a good idea to never get tested in life? You know? So let me share a passage with you very quickly. James chapter 1, we look at verses 2 and 3, right? James says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow." Okay? First of all, what is endurance? This word that I've been repeating, I probably said it 10 times already. What is endurance? Well, endurance is our ability to handle prolonged stress without giving up. Okay, that's what it is. It's our ability to handle prolonged stress without giving up. And it also includes the capacity to persist over an extended period of time. Okay, so that's basically, in a nutshell, that's what endurance is. But if we could go back to that passage I just read, I need you to notice that James says, when troubles come, not if troubles come, but when troubles come, because they will come. Okay, troubles will come, and I'm sure some have already come your way. Okay, and when troubles come, let me read again. When troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. Okay, so by troubles, he's referring to what? He's referring to many different physical, mental, and spiritual problems we sometimes encounter, right? And when those come, James says we need to rejoice, not complain, not ask, why me, right? Rejoicing is basically the attitude that's expected of us. Or why? Why is that expected of us? Well, as someone explains, a trial is a divinely ordained difficulty that God causes or permits so that he may grow up and conform us into the image of his son. Right? So there is a purpose. There is a purpose to this. And if we want our endurance to grow, we have to be tested. We have to experience troubles. You know, the bodybuilders, you know, when you see them, when you see a guy with muscles, he doesn't just wake up with them. He puts his body to the ringer in order to get that, okay? So we have to experience troubles if we want our endurance to be strong. A life without trials does not help our endurance to grow. That's what I'm trying to say here. And when the muscles, for example, when the muscles in our bodies are not used, they can experience what they call atrophy, which is the weakening of the muscles. So it's the same thing for us, right? A life without trial can cause our endurance to suffer. We can suffer spiritual atrophy. You know what I'm saying? So remember what I said earlier. We are running a race. And all runners in a race, they experience troubles in many different ways, right? There's different forms. Elevated heartbeat, for example, they get thirsty, their mind is telling them to stop, and sometimes the outside element is probably too cold or too hot, or it's raining, you know, and so on and so forth, right? But they use those problems to fuel their endurance to help them reach the finish line. That's what they do. They persist regardless of those adversities. That's how it needs to be for us Christians in our spiritual race. The troubles we sometimes experience are there for a reason, like I mentioned before. They're there to give our endurance a chance to grow. Those trials that we sometimes experience, they act as fertilizer for our endurance, if you will. Therefore, they're not useless, right? But purposeful. And that's why James tells us to rejoice when they come, right? When troubles come. We need to rejoice. Now, I know this is not easy advice to accept, but if you can see things through the lens of the Bible, maybe it will help you rejoice when troubles come your way. Okay? Now, let me share one more verse with you in that same chapter, chapter 1, verse 12. This is what it says. It says, "Blessed is the one who endures or perseveres under trials." Why? Because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. Right? Blessed is he who endures trials, because when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. Right? Let's look at the different, the New Living Translation of that same verse. This is how they put it. It says, "God blesses those who patiently endure testing and temptation. Afterward, they will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him." So we cannot endure if our endurance is weak or underdeveloped. So according to verse 12, when we endure trials, when we persist through them, it's not in vain. It's not in vain, because there's a reward. There's a reward. And that reward, as James tells us, is the crown of life, and which is kingdom victory. Okay? So let me wrap this up for you. Okay? In our Christian lives, going through trials and tribulations is expected because they serve a purpose. Just like the bodybuilder needs to suffer through the pain of weightlifting, right, to gain muscles, those muscles that you see, right, so too must we endure trials that come our way for our endurance to mature and become stronger, right? I know there's a crazy gospel out there saying that when troubles come your way, you can say, "I refuse this, I refuse that." The Bible does not teach that. Nowhere in the Bible does it say you can refuse this, you can refuse that. Okay? What the Bible says is we need to welcome and endure trials. Okay? That's what we need to do. And because they are there for a purpose, and the purpose is to strengthening our spiritual lungs, our spiritual hearts, our spiritual legs, so that we can run the race properly. Okay? And when we remain steadfast under trials, we'll get rewarded. We need to remember that one. Okay? So if you truly want your faith to grow, if you truly want to see God's hand at work in your lives, you must endure your testing and temptation, and you must do so patiently. Patiently. That's very important. I don't think any one of us want to be an anemic Christian, right? I don't think so. So 3 things I would like to propose, and then I'll end. The first, you need to pray and ask God to help you find joy in your trials and tribulations. That's the first one. The second one is pray and ask God to help you see life through the lens of the Bible. Okay? Ask God to give you a biblical mindset, because I think it would be hard for you to understand and accept trials without that kind of mindset. And last one is a reminder. As a child of God, I want you to know you're not alone when you're going through those things. You're not alone when you're going through trials and tribulations. God is there with you. That's the promise he made. He's always there. His spirit is in you. So don't you worry. Just go through your trials and tribulations patiently without grumbling, and then you will get the crown of life. Until then, may you find joy in your troubles. See ya. Bye.